Hi, everyone. It's Emil. It's Emil Guillermo. Emil Amok to you. Welcome to my takeout, my Emil Amok'sTakeout, my takes on all things considerable. I know I have been away. I've been recovering. I had a great time in the cast of the Amanuensis, which was over there at Theater 33 in San Francisco. It's a new play by Ishmael Reed that tells the slaves' story about trying to get their due from being plagiarized essentially by Joel Chandler Harris, Song of the South, which was then made into a moneymaker by Disney, who's trying to hide the Song of the South. He can't get it apparently on the Disney Channel because he's too ashamed. He's not that woke. Well, actually, he's dead. But anyway, it's a great play if you don't know the story about the Song of the South, if you don't know what happened in Reconstruction days, if you don't know what happened to the slaves who were freed and then essentially were enslaved as they tried to tell their stories. It was it was a stage reading. It was a great way to be part of an Ishmael Reed project, and I thank Ishmael Reed. It was great. We had our last show on Sunday, and I've been recovering. Because you know how casts come together and then they unify for that one great moment on stage, and then that's it. Very emotional. It was as a creative, and then I've got other things coming up, and we'll plug them. For example, my guest today, Daniel Phil Gonzalez, professor emeritus, San Francisco State University, College of Ethnic Studies, Asian American Studies. We're getting together on November 5th, Main Library, 100 Larkin Street, San Francisco Public Library, on the third floor. It's free, and we're going to do our podcast. So you can come see us. We're going to talk about all the things that's on our minds, especially the elections that day. Or it's actually on the 4th, but we'll be talking about the results. Will Mom Donnie rule New York? Is that a good thing? What about Prop 50? Prop 50 looks like it's going to win. And look, I'm standing in front of Benny Agbayani's jersey. He was number 50 for the Mets. Best position player, MLB, last Filipino American. The last, I don't know, in 2 generations, I would say. I mean, Tim Lincecum's great, but Benny Agbayani for the Mets. Hawaiian Punch. Anyway, Prop 50 looks like it's going to win. Well, it's ahead. Yes, on 50. We'll see. We'll got a lot to talk about. We got Filipino American history. Me and Dan, November 5th, San Francisco Public Library. It's free, 3rd floor of the library, Main Library, 100 Larkin Street. So there. And then looking ahead, I do my show, the very show that I took to Canada. Emil Amok's, what is it? I took to the Vancouver Fringe. I'm taking it to the Marsh. Yeah, here it is. My Emil Amok at the San Francisco Marsh, November 19th, 7:30 p.m. You can get your tickets by just going to themarsh.org and seeing where Emil Amok is lurking there, and get your tickets for November 19th. I'm trying to sell some tickets. It's a small theater. And if you know, my birthday was earlier this month in October. I said, look, let's do my birthday Filipino time. Let's save it for November. And November 19th, we'll have a party. We'll have a good time. November 19th, I talk. I give the show that I did in Canada. I'm going to do it in America. It's going to be different, though. It's not going to be the same show because the show is constantly changing. It's like buying a Labubu. What are you going to get? You'll find out November 19th. All right, so now let's bring up my good friend to talk about the news. We bring up Daniel Phil Gonzalez, and as I said, Dan and I are speaking November 5th. We're just doing our podcast on November 5th, live. We're doing it live at the Public Library, main branch, San Francisco. Tell your friends, Filipino, non-Filipino, just bring them on. 3rd floor, it's a nice room. When I did this with Theo Gonzalez a few months ago, it was great. I thought, what a great room. Very intimate. Third floor. Come talk to us. We'll have a good time. And you can listen to the show. Then we'll be interactive as well. We're talking about Filipino American history, talking about the elections, talking about the things that you care about. That's on November 5th. So a lot of big things ahead. So without further ado, let us bring in Daniel Phil Gonzalez, my friend.
Hello.
College of Ethics Studies,
Welcome
Asian American.
A Thursday pod rather than a Friday pod.
We're doing it Thursday because a lot of news is breaking. And I thought,
it's crazy.
Let's just
Too much.
Let's just do
Too
it.
much.
Yeah. All right. The first thing on my mind, the East Wing is being demolished. This is the metaphor come
East
alive. The metaphor come alive.
The former East Wing.
I mean, the thing is, the East Wing is what people see. It's the first thing they see when they take the public visit.
Tour.
And
yeah, when you take a tour, that's where you come in.
Yeah, and yet the thing that people remember, I mean, they know the West Wing. That's where the business is takes place.
Right.
And the East Wing is where the First Lady does her things. And it's not as heralded, but it's a thing that people see. And I have to admit, I'm a former press pass carrying White House press member back in the George W. Bush era.
They call them reporters. They're called reporters.
Yeah. Yes, reporters, journalists. I felt a little. I felt sick. I felt like, wow, like going to Washington is like, if you have a chance to go to Washington and to work and to have a press pass and to cover the White House, excuse me, you consider it an honor and a privilege in your career. And to see that building destroyed, demolished, I mean, you feel American when you work in Washington. And this is the thing. People think the media hates America. No. The media loves them. That's why most journalists are there, doing their work, because they see their role. And so I just to see the White House, the wrecking ball, I was shocked and saddened. And how about you, Mr. Historian?
Yeah. There are a lot of, especially 20th century events that occurred in the East Wing. I don't want to spend a whole hell of a lot of time on it, but it also is a place where preparations for major events take place. That's actually where a lot of the planning goes and the scheduling, and it's also where the first ladies
had their
offices.
But I guess the most, when I went through the history of what happened in the East Wing, that's where Martin Luther King, right, when the Civil Rights Act was signed, that's where they held the ceremony, apparently. And I just think that there's a lot of history there, and
yeah, I agree. But see, that was probably one of the reasons that the right side of society felt fine in tearing it down.
Well, I noticed
they're tearing down civil rights. They're tearing down the Voting Rights Act. They're going to tear down or pare, as we PARE down the Civil Rights Act.
Yeah.
So why not? I mean,
this is why I say this is the metaphor becoming real. It's physical. Right. We see it. Yeah. And this is why, if you haven't been taken by by what Trump is doing, if you haven't been outraged, this should do it. I mean, if you are looking at it and say, why is he doing that? He doesn't have to do that. I mean, you have seen buildings, older buildings. There's that famous commercial where there's an old bakery and they want to put in a high rise, and they build the high rise over the bakery. Yeah. To make sure that they preserve part of it. And here, the whole thing is gone. Before, they were saying, oh, just the facade is coming down. No, it's the whole thing is coming down.
What he said was, we won't touch the original structure. Okay,
Right.
that's what he said way back in June.
Right. No
He will
touching. No
not
touching.
touch the original structure. No damage, nothing like that. Now a whole section is gone. Okay,
Yeah.
let's take it further. What's he going to build? So a grand ballroom, and the entirety of the space is supposed to be 90,000 square feet.
Bigger than the White House. Bigger
That's
than
right.
the actual White House.
The entire White House is 55,000 square feet, and they're going to build this addition on the side. So it will obviously be a monstrosity. I don't know how it's going to make the entire White House, the whole building, look oddly asymmetrical. Okay.
Well, it is. It's almost like this big hunchback, kind of thing on top of the and the White House was supposed to be the people's house. It's not this palatial thing, and it's destroyed. And just like he's destroyed democracy, he's destroyed a sense of our country. He's divided it. Maybe he thinks all the liberals will be on the West Wing, and then he could put all his MAGA folks on the right, on the East Wing. Maybe that's to house all the J6 rioters, whom he pardoned. Hey, you can stay in the White House. You can stay in the dining. Bring your sleeping bag. You can have a sleepover at the dining hall. The ballroom. And you don't have to dance. You don't have to. Can you imagine the whole 90,000? Is it 90,000 feet?
Yep.
90,000 square feet. 90,000 square feet of mega line dancers. Oh my God. Man, I can't imagine. Oh, so look,
so now the cost has gone up. He said, $250 million originally. Now it's up to 300 million.
He's alive.
And it's all private money, supposedly, right?
Well, this is the thing.
When he says things like, yeah, and I'm putting some of my own money in, as soon as he says that, everything else becomes suspect. Okay.
Well, look, Dan, did you see that list of the donors?
Yeah, the donors.
Comcast and all the tech companies and everyone who has, oh, yes, we're sycophants. Oh, yes, Mr. Trump. Everyone who wants something, here's your ballroom, build your ballroom. We don't care. Just as long as we get to screw the public with our businesses and go unregulated. Small price to pay, huh?
And it's a ballroom built by a guy that can't dance.
So there. I mean,
it ain't about dancing. It certainly ain't about dancing.
Well, it is, like I said, a MAGA line dance, 90,000 square feet, and then bring your sleeping bag.
Yeah.
Because then we're gonna go to the Capitol and we're gonna storm. We're gonna have J6 revisited every January.
I always thought that line dancing was a communist plot, that it originated actually in China, and that it was imported here through the South. They brought it through the South because the South would be less suspect. Okay. If it came up, and then all you got to do is put cowboy boots on, and it's American as hell. Put that hat on.
Well, also German as hell. This is the goose step line dance.
No,
I mean this is the autocrat stance.
You must be doing some other kind of line dance. You must.
But it is the autocrat's dance. It is like get in line.
Yeah,
get in line. The regimented.
Yeah. There's Footloose, and then there's line dancing, right? So there you go. You can you got a little bit of independence with Footloose.
I just think when it comes to this, I think this story. If you have not yet said, halt, stop Donald Trump. This, I think, if you're an American, this has got to get you a little bit.
It's disturbing, and it's not personal for me. It's personal for you. It is historical. It is destructive, right? Of something of historical importance. It shows you, how actually low regard, if any, they have, for historical significance. And like I said, it could be that they're motivated because they know that the Civil Rights Act and all, was signed there,
Yeah.
So get rid of it, right? I mean,
It is.
that means it has the stamp of the Kennedys. And what does he want? He wants to rename the Kennedy Center.
Oh, after his wife. Well, I mean, because
Yeah,
he's in the
whatever.
doghouse.
That makes a whole lot of sense. And then, I can't wait to see how the Kennedy family deals with that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, all right. So let's move on to this other idea that the other big story today. And maybe what Trump is doing with the ballroom is he wants to make it a ballroom basketball court because then he can have NBA games in there.
Yeah, and he's got money. He's got money on him.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. This is what I think. The NBA, if you haven't heard about the story, those of you who are listening, the FBI can't bother to go after people like Donald Trump because most of the FBI is run by Trump loyalists, but the big criminals are in the White House. In the meantime, they'll go after these, in a country where gambling is legal, they'll go after these NBA guys and the mafia, which is not a bad idea, but it does show you what the Trump people think are crimes and what are not crimes. All right. So I think what this means to the NBA is they're coming for the NBA. They're coming for, I mean, just like, you think Bad Bunny got some blowback because the NFL got some blowback because of Bad Bunny. Donald Trump is going after big sports now in the same way he went after big law, in the same way he went after big media. He's going after big sports and saying, you got to play by my rules or we're going after you.
Basketball was the wokest of the big sports.
Oh yeah.
Because the challenges began in the 40s, post World War II, and began in earnest in the 50s when people hadn't even started thinking about a Civil Rights Act. Okay.
Right.
When you had USF, one of the best teams in the country at the time.
Bill Russell.
Exactly. And what was the price that USF paid for doing that, for having integrated their basketball team, their national champion basketball team, is other teams and other schools wouldn't even play them.
Yeah.
When they went to those schools, they would just boycott the game. That's the kind of stuff that
I didn't know that much. I didn't know that much. I knew that Bill Russell was great and on that team, but I didn't realize that. I mean, but sure. I mean, look at baseball, look at football. I mean, blacks, and now NBA dominated by blacks. Donald Trump is sicking the FBI on the NBA, and this is just the beginning.
Well, it's also a legitimization, an attempt to legitimate, right, the behavior of the FBI, because recently all we've been seeing are actions that actually can be challenged and have been challenged and are now being challenged in the courts, and they are successfully being challenged in the courts. Now we have major actions, right, involving the Department of Justice and investigations by the FBI against his, quote, enemies, right? And then he backs off during press conferences and he says, well, I don't really know what they're doing. I have nothing to do with it. We just have to let the process go, okay? As though he's completely not associated with it, even though an accidental disclosure occurred when an email involving Pam Bondi, right, was a text or an email, right?
That go after these guys. Go after Letitia.
Yes. Yeah. Directed her specifically, not only to attack, but specific people as well. Yeah. Okay.
Indict them,
And then he says it in live press conferences. He says so. These people are criminal. He says that, they're all criminal. we got to go after it. No, there's only one criminal. That's the person that's saying it.
Yeah.
And rejecting criminality. He's 34 times convicted felon, man.
CFDT 34, convicted felon Donald Trump, 34 counts.
That's it.
But that's what I like to call him. But here's what gets me is that this very same week that he's bulldozing, demolishing the East Wing, that this thing happens with the NBA. There's so much stuff happening. But now he sneaks in this request that he'd like the American taxpayer to pay him $230 million for the Department of Justice investigations because he's not guilty. But all
Did you
these
see
other
the way he talked about it, though? The funniest part of it was that he says, well, okay, yes, I can make this request. Okay, I can make this request to the Department of Justice. And the interesting thing is that they would have to refer it back to me, and I get to make the decision.
hey,
there's no corruption there. I mean, it's coming. The statement is coming right out of his face, and we're getting people accusing us of being clowns, right? Who think we can fool people, right? Into things that aren't true. You know,
this is the ultimate.
The statements we make. This is coming out of the guy's face, man. He's saying it himself. So don't tell me, that I'm saying something that's not true. Okay. Yeah. What you're telling us is you're not paying attention. Where you're getting your information, I have no idea. But you're not even getting it from the guy that you're backing up. If you love this man, okay, you should understand what the hell he's saying. Okay.
He gets everything. Hey, look, this is the ultimate in corruption. Corruption, in your face corruption that is not corruption. Oh wow. God. It's like this is transparent corruption. Corruption.
Remember when we had to pay attention to the Tea Party Dome scandal, right? That was a big deal. Yeah. Remember when we had to pay attention to Watergate and try to explain to people how the cover-up was worse than the crime, right? Oh. This thing. There are any number of actions taken by Mr. Trump himself and all of the members of his cabinet, right? I can't think of one member of his cabinet that hasn't done something that is questionable under the U.S. Constitution.
And there's no cover-up. There's no cover. It's all out in the open.
It's just right out in the open.
It's all and we are so inured to it. You are ED. People don't care. They say,
the Supreme Court of the United States, has made this okay. They have approved so many things. The biggie, right, was of course the immunity decision.
Oh yeah,
that was huge. I mean, and now we're seeing what the impact is. And we have to keep saying the reason he gets away with this is that court decision.
Oh yeah, the immunity.
The reason the billionaires are standing on that podium, right? Behind him is because of Citizens United. Okay.
Because of money.
So you got to keep reminding the public that that's the case, and you have to keep reminding them that SCOTUS is also corrupt. It is openly corrupt. Okay.
This is and then you go back to the palace, and this is what I keep getting at, and this is Filipino American History Month. I keep saying we begin Filipino American history with the colonization of the Philippines, and we end Filipino American history this month with the United States emulating its first colony in terms of corruption, in terms of the bastardization of democracy, in terms of, the next thing really obviously is the dictatorship and America emulating the Philippines under Marcos, which would not be that far-fetched because it was the United States which backed Marcos. Reagan and Bush backed Marcos.
Yes.
All the way.
Yes.
So in some respects, dictatorship is in our DNA. Filipino American in our DNA, and we're seeing it happen. And I didn't think we'd ever see this day where this would happen.
See, now the American political culture, right, has eclipsed Filipino political culture. So we used to be able to say, well, actually, we're kind of more American than Americans. But now Americans have become more Filipino.
Yeah, they're a lot more Filipino than we thought.
Hey, right on.
Pinnacling.
All power.
Pinnacling time.
It's people power. It's people power American style, man.
People power American style it's sad, but that's the thing. So all right. Well, look.
It's absolutely tragic, man. How are we going to repair this? people are going to be thinking we got to get back to normal. Normal, my derriere. Okay,
Normal.
we're so far from anything that's normal. You know when normal was? Normal was when we forced Nixon, when the Republican Party forced Nixon out of office. That was normal. After that, right, everything else was going in the direction that we're experiencing now. Okay, you can't divorce this situation from this 60 years of history. You can't do it.
But slowly, right? I mean, they got Nixon out, but slowly there was the pardon. Slowly there was the rehabilitation, and then even in his death, I was in Washington when we covered Nixon's death, and Nixon was hailed as, well, yeah, there's this problem with Watergate, but he was a pretty good guy. He was pretty. People were like bending over backwards, not so bad. But now we have the worst president ever. And when I covered the White House, when I had my White House press pass, it was under Bush, and I thought, gee, George W. Bush was pretty bad. I thought he was pretty dumb, but he's actually pretty smart because he honors the Constitution. He knows how far he could go. He hasn't gone all the way like this guy who says, bulldoze the East Wing? Why not? Bulldoze America? Why not?
Well, I mean, Ronald Reagan and GW, of course, they not only honored the Constitution, they did things like respect people's rights under the 14th Amendment Equal Protection Clause.
Oh, right.
They did things like recognize the importance of immigration to American political, social, and economic situation. Okay, and they signed off. Mr. Reagan himself signed off, right, on naturalization, the possibility of naturalization for millions of people. Yeah. All they had to do was prove consistent residency for 3 years. Remember that?
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Here's the thing. We are really going back to the worst. The worst immigration act was 1924, where they had the quotas. We're going back. We're going back as far back to that as we can. And what enables Trump, except all the Project 2025 stuff that Russ Vought put together. Plus, he's got the best lawyers. He's got the best lawyers now, working for him, because he got big law under his thumb, and now he's going to get big sports and everything big. He's going to control everything, and I don't think it ends.
I think if he goes after the NBA, he's going to be in big trouble. If he goes after NBA and NFL, you're not going to just see one guy, taking a knee. Okay, you're going to see major boycotting going on.
Do you think? I don't know. This is.
Oh, I'm going to encourage it heavily. I'm going to encourage it heavily, man.
This is the cultural battle. I mean, we get to sports, because what do people escape to when they get so fed up with politics? Sports. And
it gives them common ground. I mean, because people that are from different political persuasions, people who have different belief systems, all go to attend, and they're cheering their home team. For the most part, right?
And that's sort of like the all throughout Trump's career, first term, second term. I always ask people, other Filipinos, people who are pro-Trump. I say, now do you want to switch? Now do you want to? And they never say. And maybe when they go after their favorite NBA team and their favorite NFL team, maybe that's when they say, that's it. I draw the line.
I really don't have much. I put very little store in that. I think people.
Well, you just said it's going to bring people together.
No. Yeah, sure, but that doesn't mean that they're going to change their positions. You know what it takes to change it? What I told my students was, be careful about what you learn in my class. By taking it home and talking about it, particularly around the holidays, okay? Please be very careful, because when you bring up oppositional positions and you want to know, I mean, a lot of the students say, my grandpa or my uncle, and they want to take them on. And I said, that's really not a good idea. You have to assess whether or not you're actually going to convince anybody to change their mind, okay? Yeah. And I said, here's the problem. You're thinking that if logic and history and facts are going to make people change their mind. Okay, that doesn't happen.
No.
It's belief system. That's what happens. And then you're going to ask them, even if you give them facts, you're going to ask them to eat the whole first 80% of their lives, because they may have been believing in this ever since they were 20 years old, ever since they were 30 years old.
And then you're going to
ask them everything that you believe in is bullshit. That's where we're going.
I mean, the flat earthers. I mean, suddenly people are flat earthers. I know. Look, it's tough. What is the belief system? I believe in the slam dunk and the 3-point shot. You come after the NBA, I'm ready to go against Trump.
I believe GP2 has got hella springs. That dude impresses the hell out of me every time you look at how short he is next to everybody else on the big teams, right? And the dude flies, it's like, woo.
I like GP2.
We're always talking about Air Jordan and buying his shoes, right? But GP2 is incredible, man. I really
Gary Payton.
His attitude. You see him when he's on the foul line, when he's sitting on the foul line and he tucks his head into the guy's chest and stuff. It's funny as hell. He's just so good,
Yeah,
he's my guy. He's good. Anyway, moving on.
Well, the Warriors did well to beat the Lakers, but the Lakers aren't a good team. But I worry about the Warriors' health. But they got some good players around them. Kuminga, JK, Johnny Kuminga, the best Filipino player in the Kuminga. I know he's out.
I don't know. I'm surprised that some Ilocanos haven't claimed it yet.
Kuminga.
Yeah, that's a surname that originated in the Cordillera.
No, Johnny JK. I have my Ilocano Filipino basketball.
Yeah. I remember. You were down on JK like 2 or 3 years ago.
I was because he was not. He was growing. Like he's only 23 years old.
Yeah, he was a kid. And he didn't have confidence. That was he was inconsistent because he lacked confidence.
Yeah.
But you weren't helping him by criticizing him. He was very sensitive to you and your expressions of criticism.
Well, I will say that he's better now. He's better now, and also, oh my God, last night Wembanyama.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
He is good. And that's it pays to be tall. That's why that's why everyone criticizes me for not playing basketball. Because it pays to be tall. And here I am, slam dunking, at will, but I don't want to play.
If you had springs like GP2, man, you still might
I don't need springs. Look, I don't play basketball. I'm tall, but it's too easy. I let Victor Wembanyama from France come in and change the game. That's not my thing. Anyway, hey, Dan. All right.
Yes.
So look, we wanted to cut this short because we both got things to do, but it's
what do we need to cover? We covered East
we forgot
Wing.
the one big thing.
San Francisco, man. Trump said he was going to invade San Francisco. He was going to send everybody. He was going to send ICE. He was going to send Border Patrol, and he was going to send National Guard. Okay.
Yeah.
And that would have ticked me off really bad because I got a lot of friends and relatives that are former and current National Guard. Okay. And I hate asking them how they feel now about what Trump is doing, because a lot of them were very pro-Trump, before the first term, and I think that's changed for many of them. But I
hope,
me too. I hope so too. But okay, so he called in evidently, and Mayor Lurie says that they had a conversation, and they're not going to. Trump is not going to bring.
Yeah, he's not going to do it.
But they already had a confrontation because some Border Patrol and some ICE people showed up. Border Patrol was going to be massing and assembling at TI at Treasure Island, and so there were protesters there. There was a confrontation of some sort. One protester was hit by a Border Patrol vehicle, and another protester was shot in the head with a paintball. And so they were sent to the hospital. They're supposedly recovering.
this surprises me because the Border Patrol should be a little better
than ICE.
Trained than ICE. I mean, ICE is they're just trying to put anyone in there, and that's why you're getting you're getting rights violated left and right. But the big takeaway from this is that Daniel Lurie, the mayor, and Trump talk, and Trump tries to say, "Oh well, I tried to convince him the feds could do it faster." Lurie said, "Give me a chance," and then all right, so that's and he
argued the fact that everything got better over the last 2 years.
Right. But the big thing that I think is the takeaway is that when Mark Benioff, who earlier in the last week said, bring in the National Guard, and then he toned it down, but he was like paving the way to do this. And then Jensen Huang, the NVIDIA guy, also called him, according to Trump. And this is the thing. If you scratch my wallet, I scratch yours. That's the kind of government we have. It's cronyism, and this is, how do you play this game? Have the big money, you can play the game. No big money.
Benioff had a couple of people, well, at least one person resigned from his board outright.
Oh yeah, at least one. And this is the thing. I mean, you got to have some principles, and this is where capitalism has, as I say, gone amok.
Well, wait, but all capitalism is good capitalism. What are you saying? Are you turning socialist on us? What are you saying?
I think I'm turning Mamdani. I think I'm turning Mamdani.
Oh, he's only a social democrat, man. He's not an outright socialist.
And that's the thing. He's for fairness. Outright capitalism amok. Not fair.
One of the things they criticize about him is what? He's going to open up grocery stores? They're going to be city-run grocery stores? Okay. When I was a kid, in public schools, private schools, every day or at least once a week, they would pass around passbooks, envelopes for the banks, and you put money in there, and then they would take it to the bank, right? And they would help you maintain an actual savings account.
We did that. I did that too.
Yeah, well, that shows you how the fuck old you are. Oops, I'm pardon my language. But anyway, okay.
That's right. Everyone's
remember
when
you could go to the post office? You could go to the post office and cash checks. Okay. There were free clinics throughout the city. You get your TB test, right?
VD.
You could get
your VD.
X-rays, right?
VD.
Yeah.
Those are the clinics I know, the VD ones. As a reporter.
You can get stuff for free, man. For free. Okay. And so, now they're saying that all of that stuff is socialism. Well, it was here before, man. So I guess we were doing socialism before these idiots got here.
Dan, the only socialism that counts is if the government gives me, the capitalist overlord, all the money I need to thwart regulation. That's the kind of good capitalism. Good capitalism making good socialism. That's what we need.
Yeah. Is there something that's like, can we call it SOCAP? SOCAP, because oil companies get
they get subsidized. Everyone gets it. Farmers are subsidized.
Farmers. Big ag. We're not talking about everyday farmers. Family-owned farming businesses. We're talking about big ag.
Big ag gets the bag.
Yeah.
They do. Big ag gets the bag. That's socialism. All right. Man. So Dan, we're not going to have ICE. We're not going to have the big surge. And the key point is, if you got the money, you could avoid anything, because Donald Trump you scratch my wallet, I scratch your. Oh, the Binance guy. He left the Binance.
I'm not going to scratch his wallet. You know where he keeps his wallet? He keeps his wallet where Jeffrey Epstein kept his wallet. That's the problem.
Oh, he has a 17-year-old girl carry it?
If you say scratch my wallet, I'm not going there. Okay, you can go ahead. Scratch all you want, dude.
I see.
Yeah.
All right.
That ties right into scratch and sniff.
Dan. Yeah. All right. So we've talked a lot. Now let's talk about our November 5th, because we're going to do something on November 5th.
We're going to be interactive.
People, to tell your friends. We got it's a small little speakeasy to talk. on the third floor of the library, and we're going to do what we do here over there. So it's free. Come on down, say hello.
Yeah, it'd be
And
nice to see folks again. If you're in the city and it's easy, come on by. Come
yeah,
on by. It'll be
but
fun. I see you guys. I got a lot of birthday wishes and stuff from people I haven't heard from in a long time. Because there's a small cadre of us that are Libras.
yeah, oh
Right?
yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now I have to say it's going to be at. I failed to put in the time, but it's at 5:30.
Oh, that's
Five,
really. Oh, really? Okay.
yeah, five,
That's
five,
that's a
five.
good start time because people can get off work and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Peak
Yeah.
free 5:30 p.m. There it is,
Yeah.
100 Larkin Street. So
That's right.
I hope people come by. And Dan, thanks for coming in on a Thursday, a little day ahead. But we'll spread our joy far and wide to the weekend. We didn't even talk about three. We've talked about No Kings, haven't we?
Not really, not today. We talked about No Kings last time, but
Yeah,
not
last
today.
time.
It was
Well,
great. It was
I,
really a great show.
yeah,
And it's really fun to watch the Republicans say what they said before was it's a bunch of socialists and all that stuff. Did you see Levitt, man?
oh,
The press
oh
rep.
yeah, yeah. Caroline
Oh
Levitt.
my
Yeah,
God!
she's
She
well,
said these people
she
are all corrupt. They're all Democrats. They're communists.
corrupt Antifa. Yeah, yeah. And
Holy
no,
smoke,
no,
man!
it's a very. I thought it made a difference. I think it's happening. I think it's starting to change, and I
I'm glad,
think
I'm
more.
glad she said that stuff. I'm glad the
Yeah,
Republicans are saying and repeating it over and over again because
yeah.
that just ticks people off more.
Oh yeah, yeah. And this, and then compound that with the East. The East Wing. I think you're going
You
to
really,
start seeing more.
you
I,
really, you,
I look,
I
but
think
only
I
because
think
I
you need
noticed.
counseling about the East Wing, dude.
Well,
I think
I noticed that a lot of people on social media, like the right, is saying, "Oh, you lefties, you go ahead and talk about the East Wing. There's nothing in the East Wing. It's the White House. It's like cutting off your arm. Say, oh, we don't.
no. I think we're gonna have to rename it the Whiter House,
The
and,
whiter. Oh, that's a
and
good one.
soon, soon it'll be the whitest house.
The white. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. And that's
You
yeah,
know, we have to see them clear up the staff, right? Because
yeah,
a lot of the maintenance staff and a lot of the cooks and all that are they're now white.
yeah.
So
Black and
they're people of
Filipino.
color. Okay,
Except
they've been on those jobs, but they're going to fire them. They're going to burn them because they're saying they're deep state.
yeah. Well, the Filipinos and the black, right? In the
That's,
Navy, they became the stewards, and that's how the Filipinos got in the White House by being
well,
inside as
yeah.
stewards. Like we can't forget uh, Bayani Nelvis,
Hmm.
the guy who befriended Monica Lewinsky, and that was how we know the truth
Oh
about
man, you gotta.
Bayani Nelvis.
For a moment they did an interview of him,
Yeah,
and just for a couple of moments that morning on the day that they did the interview,
yeah.
one of his statements was, "Oh, I went there to clean, and there's just so many tissues, so many tissues."
All
I
right, all
tried
right.
to- I was driving when when that interview happened. I heard it. I had to pull over. I was laughing so damn hard. And
A
then,
lot of
yeah,
people.
when I got to work, I tried to get it online, right? I tried to
Yeah.
get it so I could copy it and hold on to that, and it was gone. You could not find that interview.
A lot of people crying that day. A lot of people crying that day. All right, Dan. All right, let's end it here. Thank you, Dan. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you
Okay,
for joining
boss.
me.
Okay, boss.
Always good to see you. And we'll talk more online. There he goes, Daniel Phil Gonzalez, my friends, College of Ethnic Studies, Asian American Studies, Professor Emeritus, San Francisco State University. Oh, and he's going to be with me November 5th. We're going to do this thing at the public library. That's this kind of show. But I do this other show. I'm going to be live at the Marsh, San Francisco Marsh, on November 19th. That's not free. But don't just say, "Oh, we're going to go see the free one," because no, go to this one, November 19th at the Marsh, 7:30 p.m. at the Marsh in San Francisco, I do my show that I took to Canada. And, all the things that outraged me in, say, March and June and July and August are different than the things that outrage me today. Anyway, come see that show. Don't forget, Benny Agbayani, a reminder that 50-50, that must mean something. If you're voting November 4th, get your ballots in. All right. I might be back again tomorrow. I might just play this again. But I'm glad you joined us. I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much. We like to end with a little loving kindness because we're nothing if not about love. It's about love. And so, as I wish for me, I wish for you. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. And may you live with ease. Emil Amok, Emil Guillermo, thank you for joining me. Till next time, Mahal Kita.